It took the greatest investor of our time, Elon Musk, just a few years to build two giant companies, Tesla and SpaceX. SpaceX manufactures and tests space rockets to be sure of a perfect working condition as desired, and they have successfully gained the honor as the first private company to deliver humans to space. But how do they build their rockets and send them to space from the surface of the Earth? Stay glued to this video as we unveil the processes it takes SpaceX to build their rockets from start to finish. SpaceX was founded in 2002 when Elon Musk fleshed out his cash in PayPal and parted it to eBay to establish his company. It is the first private company to successfully launch and return a spacecraft from the Earth into orbit with crewed artisans from the International Space Station, ISS, located in Hawthorne, California. The first launch was a scary day for SpaceX, since human beings were conveyed in the rocket. Putting them at risk of any casualty was almost a challenge to face, but thank God the first rocket landed successfully. Elon Musk hoped to revolutionize space travel technology and make spacecraft seemingly affordable for launching in reality. Just as the space rockets and spaceship was launched by the American government to plant the American flag on the moon, of which China did the same, Elon Musk wants planets in space to be like a stone's throw from the Earth, and with his advanced technology where research is carried out for the betterment of spacecrafts daily, Musk is pretty close to his vision. A two-stage liquid-fueled spacecraft called Falcon 1 was designed by SpaceX to send small satellites into orbit for better network availability. Companies will always aim to cut down on costs while still improving quality output. For this reason, when comparing other spacecraft manufacturing companies, the Falcon 1 rocket was significantly cheaper to build and operate than rockets made by other populated spacecraft owned by government-funded companies. The SpaceX Merlin engine was the rocket's most cost-effective development and a cheaper alternative. With SpaceX research and advanced technology, already launched rockets can be relaunched or reused, where other companies offer a one-time launch. This was one of the top-notch research ever known in history. Way back in 2010, SpaceX first launched the biggest spacecraft engine known as the Falcon 9. The 9 represents 9 engines used to build a rocket. The following year, Falcon 9 heavily broke the ground on a launch site. Unfortunately, SpaceX hopes that the same craft will be the first to go beyond the $1,000 per pound to orbit cost barrier, and much hope was put on it to transport astronomers into deep SpaceX for further research and installation of network systems. The massive explosive flames that are ejected out of the nozzle of a rocket without the entire rocket exploding should tell anyone that many mathematical calculations and analysis have been carried out to make sure the rocket takes off safely without exploding. The Falcon is a two-segment rocket designed to launch satellites to space and propel spaceship into orbit so that astronomers and scientists can carry out several space studies and inventions. The Falcon 9 is 69.9 meters tall, weighs 549,054 kilograms, and generates 7,607 kilonewtons of thrust during takeoff, and it is capable of sending 22,800 kilograms of any spacecraft into the orbit, which will revolve around the Earth. Mars is a neighboring planet to Earth, and Elon Musk said he wants to be the first to launch humans into Mars. His goal is to make space travel similar to how we travel on roads daily. Maybe scientists want to develop a new world revolution on Mars. Perhaps that's why Elon Musk aimed to be the only successful space travel company to send humans from Earth to Mars safely. SpaceX has made more than 40 missions of the Falcon 9 into Earth orbit. In 2012, it made history as the first privately launched rocket to send a resupply mission to the International Space Station successfully. Since then, it has been reused continuously without failures on any assignment. Marking another step towards the company goal, like launching humans into orbit from space of the American soil, something that only happened in 2011 by the Space Shuttle's final flight. All the successful space launches by SpaceX attracted a diverse clientele, including the U.S. Air Force and the commercial satellite launches. As we enter the new retail spaceflight era, SpaceX has already gained credit as the leading and reliable spacecraft company to handle cost-effective space travel. The Merlin engine is a vital part of the Falcon 9 rocket at the first stage of flight. The previous version of the Falcon 9 engine had 9 engines, but the sophisticated Octaweb engine, 8 engines, are arranged in a circle around one central. Different engine arrangements shouldn't be confused with their performance. The Octaweb 8 engine's advantage over Falcon 9 is the reduction in length and weight, simplifying the rocket's design and assembly, and the manufacturing process automated with programmable robots. The rocket's interstage are different phases where the rocket had to dissect itself to fire different kinds of flames as it passes through different gravity layers in space. The first and second stages are a crucial phase of the rocket, and also the driving force to the subsequent stage. After some seconds, the interstage isolates the two phases, permitting the subsequent stage to fire safely. This process is known as the snapshot of organizing. Isolating the rocket stages during flight is a fascinating scenario, and the Falcon 9 makes it very straightforward. While most rockets use a convoluted pyrotechnic arrangement of hazardous gas to separate the stages, SpaceX utilizes an all-pneumatic stage detachment system tested on the ground to verify less jolting to the rocket. Just like all the power Samson had was said to be in his hair, the force behind the Falcon 9 is the Merlin engine, which has 9 consecutive engines and is clustered to function together in the first stage. In contrast, the second stage contains a single Merlin engine designed to fire up the vacuum. These engines burn a combination of kerosene called the rocket propellant 1 and liquid oxygen. If the Falcon 9 is launched, the first stage engine burns for 162 seconds, and the second stage engine burns for 392 seconds before the liquid oxygen propellant is fired in inner space. The Merlin engine is incredibly sophisticated and powerful, one of the most efficient engines ever built, so having 9 of the machines fixed at the first stage offers some inbuilt extraordinary thrust and safety. For other rockets, if the engine fails during launch, the thrust loss can alter the rocket's chance to reach orbit successfully. Still, the Falcon 9 is designed in such a way that only 2 out of the 9 engines are capable of failing, so the remaining 7 engines can push the rocket into orbit without any disruption. The Falcon 9 is equipped with healthy engines that can burn longer and boast thrust with high emitted energy to save the mission. You can technically see why SpaceX is a reliable company that can successfully launch humans to the space without any fatal accident. Guess it's obvious enough. Falcon 9 launch's significant part is the landing, which displays the first stage of the floating barge. The early stage includes 4 carbon fiber landing legs installed close to the nozzle, and it seemingly opens when the nozzle is close to the ground. After the rocket goes through the staging process, it begins to fall through the atmosphere, and cold gases that thrust the top flip of the rocket becomes upright. Then the first stage engine fires up briefly, just enough to slow down its fall. As the rear of the rocket approaches the landing axis, the legs stretch out, and in the very final stage of it to land, only 3 out of the Merlin 9 engine fires one last time. SpaceX calls this the boost back burn. The rocket lowers and slows down before it finally lands, making a soft touch on the ground. The Falcon 9 rocket's landing sequence is entirely automated, with every stage responding to real-time program data. After a successful landing, the Falcon 9 rocket is returned to the horizontal factory facility, where it can be refurbished and checked out for another launch. Building a new rocket for every launch is way expensive compared to reusing the stage. The first time a core stage rocket was reused was in March 2017, when the SES-10 mission was launched, and the cost was way less than half of what it would cost to build a brand new stage. The core reason why SpaceX rebranding innovation is essential to the spacecraft company. Elon Musk prefers single-use rockets to single-use airplanes. If an airline decides to scrap the Boeing 747 after every flight, the cost of taking a flight would be prohibitive for an average traveler. But the engines used in airplanes aren't single-use. Instead, they are refueled for another flight. So if a rocket can be refueled just like an airplane, then the cost of spaceflight will drop drastically compared to what we have today. People will always travel to other planets for mind-blowing adventures and tours, especially the moon, which is the lover's dreamland. Would you love to travel to the moon someday in a rocket? Please do well to share your thoughts in the comments section below. And while you're still around, why don't you click on one of those flashing videos on the screen for more content? Until next time, please like, share, subscribe, and remember, it's not the luxury you get, but the luxury you deserve.